Hi, my name is Zebedee and I'm going to read from my book Inish Carraig, and I'm going to read a scene that is about the connection between my science fiction work and Northern Ireland. To set the context, my two protagonists are standing in Ballycastle looking over at a large alien prison called Inish Carraig, which has been plunked on the top of Rathlin Island, and I'm very sorry for flattening Rathlin, but I needed an island. So John stamped his feet on the deck. The wind was keen, direct from the Arctic, and the rain had turned to stinging darts against his cheeks. Beside him, Taz hunched into his coat, Carter holding his arm as if to stop him bolting. The cop stared resolutely ahead, his face impossible to read. A wash of water hit the pier, splashing John's boots. He moved back, glaring at the grey waves. He had always been told the sea was blue. Evidently, his art teacher had never been to Ballycastle in winter. Here, the North Atlantic was like a moving stone. A shout came from the boat moored in the harbour, and Carter gave an acknowledging salute. "OK, lads, let's go." John paused at the door to the small cabin. The quayside was the last place he'd see before Inish Carraig. Northern Ireland hadn't been much of a place to grow up, what with the politicians going on about crap that didn't matter a damn and the arguments about stupid flags flaring into riots. But it was his place. One of the soldiers jerked his head at the cabin, and John went in, dropping onto one of the benches that ran along the side. Through the rain-drizzled window, the prison was a dark shadow in the gloom, bigger than he had expected. When he'd looked Rathlin up, it had seemed little more than a rock. He'd done more than just look at the island, he'd memorised it. After all, who knew when the doors might be left open? He'd traced the hills and inlets, the rocks and landscape. It was bleaker than he had imagined. And boring. Its only claim to fame was some Scottish king who had stayed in a cave and watched a spider spin in its web before going back to beat the shite out of the English. Christ, you'd think kings would have better things to do than watch spiders. The boat rocked in its berth. A mix of diesel and brine, familiar from the last time he'd been on a ferry, turned his stomach, and he told himself it wasn't possible to feel sick until the boat cast off. It wasn't. The boat cast off.